Smarter Markets is back at FIA Boca, and happy to be joined by Adrienne Muir.
Thank you for having me.
Very good to have you here. I should have said that you're also the CEO of Avenir Technologies.
I certainly am.
And you're just in from New Zealand. So this truly is a global cleared markets conference.
It really is. And someone just said to me, listen, if you've come this far, you need to make sure you're speaking to the right people. So I'm here.
Well, we're glad you chose to speak with us.
Yeah.
Maybe for guests who haven't met you before, what do you do at Avenir Technologies?
Well, we're a small markets infrastructure provider. So basically, we're into markets technology. We build exchanges. We have a full technology stack from trading, clearing through to settlement. And we have some risk management tools. So we provide technology to emerging markets and some of the more sort of tier 2 and tier 3 providers. But for somebody who's been in markets infrastructure nearly my whole career, if I'm really honest, coming to Boca for me is one of those opportunities to land and talk and reconnect and have these discussions regardless of where the Avenir technology is. It's an opportunity to know what's happening in the markets.
And how has it been at the conference so far? As you said, it's where everybody gets together. You can talk to the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
Who are you, not the particular company, but what types of participants were you most eager to engage with this week?
Yeah, it's a couple of things. I think I like to come and just hear what's happening on the ground. So I'm loving going to the panels, right? Just to sort of, look, I love evolution of technology, right? One of my first jobs was on the live floor, taking it to electronics. So sitting and hearing about prediction markets and hearing about what's happening with tokenization. And it's just like, it's for someone who is a passionate markets infrastructure person, it feels like this is the place to come, right? So there's a big part of that. So I know what's happening. For me, we've got a lot of, got this really strong competition out there, and I'm a small markets infrastructure provider. But I like to think that what Avenir does is brings that sort of fintech focus into what we do. So we're quite agile and quite modular. And we've got the full technology stack. So I'm talking to exchanges who've got really incredibly smart systems, but might need that sort of bolt-on or sort of talking about the pain points that they might have. And often that is stuff that they know that their other vendors might be able to get to, but it might be quicker for us to help address with them. So it's kind of having those conversations with people as well, which has been interesting. I'm speaking to people about onboarding capital. I'm speaking to people about what they're up to as well, looking at the types of different types of technology that's out there as well, speaking to all sorts of different people. It's awesome.
That's great. And as an infrastructure provider, and as you said, so much of the conversation this week is prediction markets, tokenization. From an infrastructure perspective, how prepared are we for these types of innovations, or where do we need to be doing work?
I'd like to think we are prepared. Like if you look back 20, 25 years ago, everything feels a bit scary, like going to an electronic trading system felt scary. Having data vendors sending out information over back in the day on, 5 meg. We evolve really quickly, and the market will tell us how to evolve. And the thing that we're seeing with that sort of the TradFi DeFi piece is that we've got really strong sort of roads that have been already paved by classic traditional markets, and that infrastructure is solid. And we are seeing really good conversations happening with the crypto people, with, and they are coming to the likes of people from a traditional markets infrastructure background and saying, hey, it's kind of like, well, how do we work together and what is it we need? So we're having conversations. We've got a really, really good, strong CSD solution, and that's becoming really important. Like, where is everything being kept? Is it really strong? How is it? Is it solid? So we're having conversations with a lot of those as well. I think it's important that people embrace it. It's scary sometimes when it feels like it's an unknown. I've had a few people I've seen walk out of these sort of doors and be like, oof, this feels a lot. But I think I can just get really excited about what's happening in the markets.
Yeah. And when you're, listening to all the different perspectives, all the different conversations, the panels, the meetings, are there any ideas that really jumped out and surprised you, or any ideas that kind of have stuck with you after hearing them?
Yeah, it's the ones that resonate with me are going to be the ones that I really stand out. And I went to the exchange leaders panel and heard Adrienne talking about sort of post-trade infrastructure and trying to align more across the globe and making sure we're doing things together. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I get that. I hear you. I do think there's a lot more, I'm hearing like, it's not sort of as same as it has been in the last 10 to 15 years. I like the diversity of conversations that's happening as well, so that I feel like everyone's kind of got a space and it's a respectful space. So gone are the days where it was very like incredibly competitive, which we know it is within the exchanges and the clearinghouses. But I do think that it seems to be a lot more alignment in many ways and excitement about the future. There's also alignment about some things that are coming down the pipe that people are not so happy about. But like everything, that takes time. And I think this is why I think I heard someone yesterday talk about this being the Davos of derivatives. Did you hear that? I was laughing about that. I thought that made me laugh, but it kind of is. Everyone's here talking about the same things, addressing this, seeing old friends, making new friends, having really strong partnership discussions, which is amazing. And I think that is the beauty of Boca.
And for people who are used to hearing more from the large, predominantly US and European exchanges, you said you work with a lot of exchanges kind of throughout the rest of the world. What's the pace of innovation there? And are there interesting developments in more local or regional exchanges?
Such a great question. And yeah, you'd be surprised. I think that for somebody who personally spent a lot of time with large exchanges in Europe for many years, coming out and actually looking at the way that they're approaching their new product innovation and what they're doing in terms of actually building liquidity is quite interesting. We're working closely with exchanges who are really focusing on changes that are coming down the pipe from a regulatory perspective. So we've got people who are saying, look, I've got risk management tools that my team can use here at my exchange, but how am I allowing the transparencies back to my participants so they're equally seeing that, so that they're prepared when there's a margin call. They're not like, oh God, that it's a really important piece of actually bringing the markets closer together. So that's happening at pace with the people I'm talking to. And sometimes it's happening more at a larger, we should be doing that. So you'll go to a conference and IOSCO will be saying, this is what we want. But actually some of the smaller markets who are more agile and can make changes really quickly, they're kind of doing it. Yeah.
And when you look ahead to next year, not to get ahead of ourselves, but what do you think would be fantastic for the industry to be focused on and working on? What would you love to come back here next year and be like, oh, I'm glad we made progress on these issues?
That is a great question. Well, again, I hate to say, going back to what the leaders were talking about before, and I know there's another one tomorrow, I would like to see a little bit more of a synergy across the table around the kind of the main problems that we're trying to address. And rather than it being just sort of like in one region and another, I would like to see a little bit of a collective view on how that would work. And I appreciate that. I mean, as somebody who puts technology into a number of different exchanges, everyone's got different regulation and requirements and products, and I appreciate it can't be the same. But sometimes it would be nice to think that we're kind of coming together and actually looking at a collective view on what would be the right thing for us to be doing right now, because it feels like a lot of wrong things are happening outside of our space. And just generally speaking, get behind what is evolving in our markets and get excited about that too. There is a space for everybody in this market.
Well, it's great to meet you.
And you.
Glad you're here.
Thank
and
you
glad
so much.
You took some time to sit down with us.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.